Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and I think we accidentally just found out who's going to die in the opening scene of Avengers Doomsday. Bear with me. I'm going to walk you through how I got there. Which leaders in the 616 Marvel Universe are currently on multiverse watch? Who is the 616 Illuminati that we're about to see a repeat massacre of, led by Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom? And were they originally going to appear in Captain America: Brave New World? This all comes from one of the weirdest interview exchanges I've seen in recent memory that told us a lot more than I think we were meant to learn, and it's one of many puzzle pieces that are being provided by Marvel filmmakers that just lead to future questions about the future of this franchise. So I'm going to break down what we learned by asking the question I don't think anyone else is asking. So last week, Captain America: Brave New World director Julius Onah finally broke his silence after the film's release, doing in-depth interviews with Adam B. Vary at Variety and Andy Ortiz at The Wrap, answering the nitty-gritty questions that many of us really had after the film's release. To Variety, Onah said that the decision to make Bucky Barnes running for Congress really ties into the upcoming Thunderbolts movie, and confirmed that he is running for a district in New York City. And if you know anything about our real world politics, one, I'm sorry that you carry that daily burden with you, and two, you'll know that nearly all the districts in New York City are gerrymandered to be Democratic leaning, aside from the districts in Long Island and Staten Island. And if you're from those places, or you know people from those places, you know that those are exactly the kind of electorates that would totally vote for a 110-year-old assassin who was formerly mind controlled by Hydra. But if we assume that Bucky would be running in his home district in Brooklyn, that in our world is House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries' district. And I just find that very, very funny. Julius Onah also told Variety that there was a version of this movie that went onto Celestial Island itself to, I assume, see what those adamantium mines look like. Onah also told Variety that there was a version of the story where President Ross didn't necessarily die at the end of the movie, but that the public might have believed that he died. And that might explain why we saw so many trailer shots of somebody's funeral that we're pretty sure was President Ross's, at least from the public perspective. But the outlet The Wrap got similarly into the nitty-gritty of this film's reshoots, its alternate versions, evolving leader character designs, etc. But there was this exchange that caught everyone's eye. The Wrap asked, "You mentioned that there's no shortage of characters in this movie, but from what I hear, there were also at a time going to be more. There was going to be an Illuminati at one point in the script. Who was in your Illuminati? Because we saw them in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I need to know who was in yours." And Julius Onah said, I'm not going to say. And he laughs. Ha 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 ha. Let's just say things are purposely left vague in that post-credit scene for a reason. What? So by purposely vague, he obviously means, Samuel Stern's the leader, talking about alternate worlds out there of whose heroes want to fight to defend their worlds as much as our heroes want to fight to defend ours. But a quick reminder about the Illuminati. Marvel's Illuminati refers to a group of 6 or so leaders representing different factions of Marvel heroes who track the worldly threats. In the comics, they typically consist of Doctor Strange, Professor X, Tony Stark, Reed Richards, Black Bolt, Namor, and sometimes Black Panther. They appeared in the films in 2022's Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness in the alternate 838 universe, where the lineup was Sorcerer Supreme Mordo, Professor X, Black Bolt, Captain Peggy Carter, Captain Marvel Maria Rambeau, and what they called the smartest man alive, Reed Richards, played by John Krasinski. There was also an unoccupied 7th chair on that dais, and we're pretty certain that was going to be filled by Thor's half-brother Balder the Brave, played by Daniel Craig, whose crumpled form appeared on a green screen set of this location killed by Mjolnir in a behind-the-scenes image, suggesting that there was also meant to be some Asgardian representative on this council, maybe like ruler of the 9 realms. Now, of course, the Scarlet Witch of that movie murdered most of these leaders, so this interview is really the first implication that a separate lineup of the Illuminati exists in the 616 universe as well, even if they ultimately did not appear in this 4th Captain America movie. But the Illuminati play an important role with Hulk's storyline as the ones who exile the Hulk from the Earth following his destruction of Las Vegas, but Hulk returns in the World War Hulk storyline to savagely kill many of the members of the Illuminati. To be clear, this is not the World War Hulk's storyline. That's the Red Hulk, the leader storyline that inspired parts of Captain America: Brave New World. World War Hulk's 2 different stories. But more importantly for Marvel Studios' future plans, the Illuminati do play a very important role at the beginning of Jonathan Hickman's Time Runs Out storyline that leads to the 2015 Secret Wars crossover event. And in that 2022 Multiverse of Madness movie, screenwriter Michael Waldron and director Sam Raimi took much of Reed Richards' explanations of incursions and multiverse logic directly from Reed Richards' presentation to the rest of the Illuminati in that moment from the comics. Now, the way content aggregators on social media reposted this news from The Wrap at the end of last week, many completely misquoted Julius Onah with claims like, "Director confirmed confirms that the Illuminati were originally in Captain America Brave New World, but they were moved. No, that is not what happened in this exchange. The interviewer posed the premise of the question, claiming that they heard that there was going to be an Illuminati at some point in the script, and then they asked Julius Onah, who was in his Illuminati lineup, which, who knows, from his perspective, he could have been like, fan cast your dream Illuminati. But then Julius Onah kind of playfully ducked the question and then said that this movie's post-credit scene with the leader warning about having to fight heroes from other worlds was just left vague for a reason. That's all Onah said. Basically, Marvel Studios exec were like, just don't say anything specific with this post-credit scene, just kind of say this vague thing. But when I read this, I got very curious about the premise of the question, because I trust the Wrap. This is the same outlet that did week-by-week interviews with Agatha All Along creator Jack Schaefer that got exclusive scoops on what was really happening with that show. I trust their reporting. I trust their sources. They know what they're talking about. But at the same time, I've been covering production for Captain America Brave New World for nearly 4 years now, and I feel pretty briefed on what every version of this movie was going to be. And this is the first time I've heard any mention of Marvel's Illuminati possibly appearing in this movie. I don't know where the Wrap got this. And I even ran several different Google searches spanning the time from when this movie was announced back in April 2021 to right before this interview with the Wrap was published last week, with various search terms involving this movie's multiple titles and the term Illuminati. And the only thing I really found as a possible source of this idea was this random Screen Rant Theory article from March 2023 that speculated that President Ross might be trying to form his own Illuminati based on what happens in the Dark Reign storyline. There was no source of anyone working on the movie cited in this article, or even any kind of scooper speculating that that might happen based on, they're always anonymous sources. A lot of the time I'm writing these videos pretty late into the night, and it can be tough to mellow out enough to get a good night's sleep at the drop of a hat. That's why I use Dream. Dream is a sleepy hot cocoa packed with all natural ingredients like melatonin, magnesium, L-theanine, and reishi mushrooms that supports all 4 stages of sleep. 2 things I want to make very clear here. First off, Dream tastes good. It was not hard for me to add a delicious hot cocoa to my nighttime routine. I started with the OG cinnamon cocoa flavor, and after my first mug, I was like, yes, more of this every night. But secondly, Dream really works. I drift off to sleep without the numb knockout of a sleeping pill, and then I sleep so much better. And it's not just me. Dream is third-party tested and clinically shown to improve sleep. And in case you've somehow gotten to this point in your life without clocking how much a difference good sleep makes, I'll tell you, quality sleep has a direct impact on your mental clarity, mood, and stress levels. Restful sleep reduces stress, supports mental health, and boosts recovery, setting the stage for a healthier, more balanced year. And with Dream, quality sleep is just a tasty mug of hot cocoa away. Prioritize your sleep for a productive and healthy year with up to 35% off Dream by Beam. Just use the code Rockstars at checkout. So I was trying to think of any ways the Wrap might have heard that the Illuminati was going to be in this movie, at least confidently enough to even ask the director about it. And there are like 4 different things I could see. 1, they might have mistaken what happens in World War Hulk's, as a comic inspiration for Red Hulk in this movie, with World War Hulk, and then just read the Illuminati's relationship with Hulk and this other comic storyline and thought the Illuminati would have been involved with this movie. 2, they might have read Intelligentsia somewhere. That is the villain organization of the leader that turns Ross into the Red Hulk, and then gotten Intelligentsia mixed up with the Illuminati, and then asked Onah about just the Illuminati, thinking that they were like the same organization. 3, at some point they might have clocked this movie's title change from New World Order to Brave New World, to avoid the association with the globalist conspiracy theory, and then mentally connect to that with Marvel sticking with calling the lineup the Illuminati in Multiverse of Madness, despite that term also having a real world association with those same kind of conspiracy theories. Or 4, the Wrap might actually have a good source at Marvel who independently confirmed that one version of this Captain America 4 movie had a 616 lineup of the Illuminati. And again, I trust the Wrap. I don't think they would put themselves out there to ask Julius Onah about the Illuminati and allow that word to stay in their edited, published interview if there was any possible confusion about the Intelligentsia or New World Order or World War Hulk. And since Julius Onah doesn't respond to this question with, I don't know what you're talking about, there was no Illuminati in any version of this movie I was making, next question please, he actually kind of entertains it. He just doesn't want to say what he did have in mind with the Illuminati. So I think there might be some truth to what the Wrap asked Julius Onah. And at some point there was a conversation with Marvel Studios exec team over a specific lineup of cameos from the Marvel leaders in the 616 universe who were supposed to represent this universe's Illuminati. If that is true, who would these Illuminati members be? Well, if we go by the titles of the Illuminati in the 838 universe, like who was important enough to even get a chair in that universe, Mordo said that one chair belonged to the Sorcerer Supreme, one chair belonged belonged to the first Avenger, or the leader of the Avengers. 1 chair belonged to the keeper of the Terrigen Mists, or the Inhuman King. 1 chair belonged to the defender of the cosmos. 1 chair belonged to the smartest man alive, and 1 spot belonged to whoever was the representative of mutant kind. And although they didn't share what that 7th chair was, Ippolito the Brave was supposed to be sitting there. Maybe the 7th one was for whoever was the ruler of the 9 realms, or whoever was wielding Mjolnir. And the 616 universe does technically have leaders who could occupy each of those chairs, or at least most of them. And here's a twist: Marvel Studios might have already showed us half of that Illuminati. The Shang-Chi post-credit scene. Wong, Carol Danvers, Bruce Banner. We never learned what the name of their group chat was. Some of us assumed Avengers. You might have also assumed like an Endgame veteran group chat or D&D group. Who knows? It's equally valid that they could just be what this universe's Illuminati is. If Shang-Chi and Katie were invited to the group of 3 high-profile Marvel leaders focused on some cosmic threat presented by a pulsing beacon from the 10 Rings, I think it's safe to say that someone at Marvel Studios intended this to be 3 of the members of the 616 Illuminati. So let's break down the full lineup of who I think the 616 Illuminati is. 1, the Sorcerer Supreme. This is Wong, right? Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness clarified that Wong, not Stephen Strange, but Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme of this universe, and I think there was a reason they told us that. 2, the Defender of the Cosmos. I think this is Carol Danvers, especially now that she's got the bangles. We have been told that she is the most cosmically powerful Marvel hero and knows all the threats that are out there in the cosmos. I mean, she killed the Kree Supreme Intelligence. 3, the smartest man alive. I do think that's why Bruce Banner was on the call. Not to say that Bruce is the smartest, at least not the smartest ever. Like this would have been Tony Stark, or maybe this should be Shuri, or like Vision, but maybe Vision is not a man, he's a synthezoid. Maybe one day this should be Amadeus Cho. But for now, after Tony Stark's death, I can see why Bruce Banner would be considered the smartest man alive in this universe. And maybe because he is the smartest man alive is why this universe is doomed. Next, the Avengers seat. Obviously, this should go to Sam Wilson, right? I think that's why this scene was going to be in Brave New World, to establish Sam as the true leader of the Avengers. Next, the mutant seat. Honestly, with so few mutants established in the 616 universe, I think this should go to Namor. Like, there's a reason Black Panther Wakanda Forever made sure to use that word with him. And Namor is a member of the Illuminati main lineup from the comics. Next, if a seat goes to the Asgardian seat, the ruler of the 9 realms, Valkyrie, as the ruler of New Asgard, should be sitting here. And then we get to the Inhuman seat. To be honest, in the 616 universe, sorry all you Quake fans, I think they would actually make this seat the Eternals seat. So I think this seat would be occupied by Cersei, Phastos, or Kingo. Probably Kingo, for a reason I'll get to in a second. And lastly, I think the 616 universe Illuminati would have a representative of Wakanda who probably just hates the rest of the group and only shows up to some of the meetings really just to tell the rest how stupid they are. So this would be like Shuri or M'Baku or Okoye. Now, if this lineup of rulers sounds kind of lame or like ineffective to you, they should. I'm not building a dream team of badasses. I'm building like a student council who decides when Hulks should be in timeout, or like a certain percentage of the world's population is expendable. That's why I think Avengers Doomsday would have opened with this 616 Illuminati meeting, fretting over incursion, still trying to figure out what the 10 Rings were pulsing about, and then promptly slaughtered, originally by the Kang Dynasty, and now, at least in some draft of something I'm telling you is out there, killed by Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom. Maybe, hopefully, Sam Wilson would escape from that, maybe spared to send a message, but otherwise, doesn't this sound like a lineup of leaders that Marvel Studios would get more out of killing off in the opening minutes of a movie to show how savage Dr. Doom is? Comment down below with your thoughts on all this, and please support us by joining the channel as a member for ad-free versions of select videos. Grab a great nerdy gift option from our merch store, nerdriot.shop. Follow me at EA Voss, and subscribe to all the channels in the New Rockstars network for in-depth coverage of everything you love. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.